More RPGs are getting paused by the social justice warriors. Well, I shouldn't say more because D&D's always kind of been like this, and well, not always, but you know what I mean. In recent years, since the SJW crazed takeover of all forms of entertainment, that is. But man, it's just sad to see everything going this way. There is an RPG called Ascendant, and it's actually number 2 in superheroes for on Drive Through RPG right now, which is really good. And I am very much into that game. You should check that out if you want something a little different. That's not going to be a social justice driven campaign, but something actually good. As far as something actually good goes on my end, Flying Sparks is my comic book, and I've got books also and novels. No RPGs yet, but we'll get some stuff like that coming up at some point. My shop and all my links are in the description below. Please check them out and grab those if you are interested in anything like this. I would love for you to check that out. All right. Wizards of the Coast now removing problematic lore from Dungeons and Dragons, whatever that means at this point. They've already removed any sort of gender differences. They've already removed a bunch of stuff with the alignments. They've already started making strange teen romance, lesbian, gay, whatever supplements for everybody to act like they're, I don't know, SJWs. But now they have to go a step further and remove every problematic thing. Of course, they're never going to run out of problematic things and new additions for new, quote, problematic things, because no matter what you do, it's never enough for SJWs, and something else is going to become, quote, problematic along the way, I guarantee you. But so far, of course, I read through the article here on Bounding Into Comics, and most of the lore that they're actually talking about is regarding orcs, because orcs are racist. That's been the talk of the last several years. SJWs have deemed that orcs are stand-ins for black people, and that orcs are representations of such. I don't know how a fantasy race equates to that, but in the SJW racist addled mind, orcs are black people. That's what they think. So they have to change orcs to be more representative of black people in their minds. Very bizarre. Think about that mentality, to think of black people as orcs to begin with. That is something that I've never thought about in my life, but unfortunately, this is how SJWs are, and so they have to go in and change everything. Naturally, there's also references to slavery in there, and they can't have that, because slavery is scary and bad and represents black people. Even though most slaves these days are not black people, slave trade is actually the worst it's ever been in history. We need to talk about it and address it, and of course we should have bad guys having slave camps. It makes sense that we would want that, but no, you can't even reference it because it might trigger somebody, and that is where we're at. Well, if that triggers you, I mean, how are you going to play a game where you're actually fighting against monsters or questing against monsters? Are you going to be able to even go out and have your characters quest against monsters? Because if you label them a monster, isn't that racist? Shouldn't you really just accept that the dragon is who they are and let them, breathe fire all over you in the name of diversity and inclusivity? I think that's really the way to go. I mean, if you fight, that causes a problematic scene, right? Oh my gosh. It's the mind tricks that people have to do to actually go through this stuff makes me want to bash my head into my laptop over and over and over again until I can't bash my head anymore, because I don't want to hear that this exists. I don't want to see that this exists. But unfortunately, now I do, and so you have to also. So this is it. D&D's totally paused. That's where we're at. This is why we can't have nice things anymore. But I'll go back over Ascendant RPG. Let's look at this, because it's worth checking out alternatives at this point. And I know that I played it. It has a beautiful system that's pretty complicated, pretty interesting. And I'll actually put this link in the description below also, because I think sharing alternatives is as important as complaining about what's going on. And if you want to give money to somebody who doesn't hate you, give it to Ascendant. Don't give it to Wizards of the Coast. Let me know what you think about all this. Hit like and subscribe. We'll be back soon.